Vivaredari Yasodanandana Rajajanna Ranjana Yasodanandana Rajajanna Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Ayurada Madhava Kunja Bihari Ayurada Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Balava Givaridhari Gopi Jana Balava Givaridhari Yasoda Nandana Vacha Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Vacha Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yayorada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayorada Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayon Vishupad Paramahansa Paradikacharya Sutta Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantikoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Grantha Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the Summa devotees. All glories to the Summa devotees. All glories to the Summa devotees. All glories Shri Guru Shri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayana Namaskritya Naranjaram Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tojayam Udirayet Nastabareshu Apareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavaduttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki Srinvata Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hriransto ibhadrani vidunoti saritsitam. So we're reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, Text 2 and 3. So Prabhu tricked me. I should have made him give class yesterday. He does so much service, you know. He's like, you should give class. I'm okay. Thought then I don't have to give today. So, anyways, yeah, this verse today is it's a nice verse, but it's so much in that verse. It's hard to decide what to talk about. At least for me, I'm a very indecisive person. So even I'm trying to write something so I can stick to my points. Anyways, I'm gonna do the best I can. So please forgive me if it doesn't inspire us. That's the real goal of these classes, to keep us inspired, right? So
Your very presence is very inspiring us.
I guess he's too kind. That's all. Yeah. I wish I could do the service they've done. I went to Las Vegas.
That's sincerity.
Yeah, you would think, all that money there, that should be a great place to sell books. It's the worst place. I don't know how you crack the minds of people who got that gambling addiction. They had the Rath Yatra in what is it called over there in New Jersey? Anyway, that one area, Atlantic City. They do Rath Yatra there. I don't know if you've been. And we were pulling the cart, and all the gamblers, they're just like this. Nobody's like, they couldn't care less. I'm like, come pull the cart, come pull the cart. They want anything, just so absorbed in that gambling. So I started telling them, you want some good luck? Pull that cart. And then they grab the cart. Then they grab the cart. Yeah, they're looking at you. Yeah, yeah, that's right. I need some prasadam too. Okay, okay. So addicted. I think you have to sell the books like that. You give a donation, your luck's gonna be the best. It's from India. Come on, give me $5 bet just to see if it works. I'll give you one book. Don't throw it away either, or your luck is gone. Take 10. Maybe you put maybe I don't know a little slot machine on the. If you hit the triple numbers, you get a book. That's right. That's the other one. Yeah, I got a homeless guy like that once. He approached me. Hey, can I have one of those books? I said, I'm a beggar just like you. Why should I give you one? Go out there, collect some money, and come back and buy one. It's $10. He went off. He came back with $10. Like, show him some respect. Hey, I'm begging like you. You want to just give it? Go and collect back and come back. $10. Okay, okay. And he came back with $10. Took Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Anyways, I was to have my little stories before we start. So 7, 5, 2, and 3. I'll read the Sanskrit in this verse and then we'll do the next one. Turagya praptitam balam praladam nayako vinam patyayam asatu pratnyan anyam chashura balakam. Translation. Prahlad Maharaj was already educated in devotional life. But when his father sent him to those two sons of Shukracharya to be educated, they accepted him at their school along with the other sons of Asuras. Text 3. You want to chant along with me or you got it? Okay. Yatatta gurunam proktam shushave nupapatyacha nasadu manasamene sa prarasad grahashayam yatatra gurunan proktam shushave nupapatyacha. Na sadhu manasa mene swaparasat grahashrayam yatatra guruna proktam shushave nupapatacha. Na sadhu manasa mene swaparasat grahashrayam. Prabhu. Yatatra gurunam proktam shushave nupapatacha. Na sadhu manasa mene swaparasha garashrayam yatatra gurunam proktam shushave nupapatacha. Na sadhu manasa mene swaparasha garashrayam tatra guruna proktam shushave nupapatacha. Na sadhu manasa mene swaparasha grahashrasham yat which tatra there in the school guruna by the teachers proktam instructed shushave heard anupapata recited cha and na not sadhu good. They translated like that before. Okay. Manasa by the mind. Mene considered. Swa of one's own. Para and of others. Sagraha by the bad philosophy. Ashrayam which was supported. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Prahlad certainly heard and recited the topics of politics and economics taught by the teachers, but he understood that political philosophy involves considering someone a friend, someone else an enemy, and thus he did not like it. Purport. Politics involves accepting one group of men as enemies and another group as friends. Before we get into that, I just want to point something out. This is how he didn't like it. We know at this point he's not just a pure devotee, but he is, he's one of the Mahajans. He's such a great devotee. And when he grew up, what did he have to do? To be a king. But naturally devotees are just inclined to their rasa of Krishna. So internally they're like that. But externally, you have to do your service. So we can learn from this also in our lives. We have our external duties we have to perform. And they've been arranged by Krishna. Maybe you have to be, whatever, you got to take care of your wife, your family, you have to work. But that's not our goal. Our goal is to serve Krishna. So we do these things. That's our second purpose. We accept them. We don't reject them. Therefore, we have Guru Shastra Sadhu to help us in understanding what to do. Is being Christian conscious is mostly gray. We would like it to be black and white. But that's boring, actually. If you know exactly what to do and there's no intrigue or challenges. So intrigue and challenges for Krishna service brings ananda. It brings bliss. It brings devotion. It brings so many things. So therefore, you can't know. It's better not to know what's happening every day. It'd be boring, right? So, anyways, I thought that just inappropriate. So inappropriate. Politics involves accepting one group of men as enemies, another group as friends. Everything in politics is based on this philosophy. And the entire world, especially at the present, is engrossed in it. The public is concerned with friendly countries and friendly groups, or enemy countries and enemy groups. But as stated in Bhagavad Gita, a learned person does not make distinctions between enemies and friends. Devotees, especially, do not create friends and enemies. That's what I'm going to try to talk about today. Devotees, especially, do not create friends and enemies. A devotee sees that every living being is part and parcel of Krishna, Mamang Vatso Jiva Bhuta. Therefore, a devotee treats friends and enemies equally by trying to educate them both in Krishna consciousness. Of course, atheistic men do not follow the instructions of pure devotees, but instead consider a devotee their enemy. A devotee, however, never creates a situation of friendship and enemy. That's the better point there. Although Prahlad Maharaj is obliged to hear instructions of Sunda and Amarka, he did not like the philosophy of friends and enemies, which forms the basis of politics. He was not interested in this philosophy. Om Jnana Timiranja Gananjanan Shalakaya Chakshumi Tamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yes, so many points are here. Because in the end, he became a king. He had children, he had so many things. You know, Bali Maharaj is one of his descendants. He's his grandson, even. And what did Bali Maharaj have to do? They were kings of the demons, even. Go figure, you're devotees, right? How are you going to manage demons? How Krishna conscious you have to be. That we think Krishna conscious just means, in the beginning it's like, therefore it's really regulated. Yeah, don't do this, don't do that. Those regulations have to be there because, we don't have love, basically. But once you have love, you don't need all those things. Even the deity worship is very regulated like that. But if you have love, you don't need all that, you know. But we don't, so we have to practice this awe and reverence and formality. This is a form of love. And therefore, in the Krishna, and in the Gita, Krishna says, surrender unto me. That's pretty heavy, isn't it? Why don't you just say, love me? That's really what he wants. But we don't understand love really. And we can understand the love of surrender. If you think about it, that is a form of, it's almost like you have to do it. If you don't want to suffer, then you have to surrender. Surrender means I have to give up this vain attempt. It's like if you're, say there's a coup and they come in here with the guns. All those who don't want to die, surrender. Everybody raise their hand, right? You do what we tell you. Yes. Yes, sir. So that's just the beginning. Gradually, that surrender will mature into our pure love. So, but to get to that pure love, you have to learn to navigate all these emotions. Like it mentions here, there's friends and enemies. This is the nature of the mature world. You can't escape it if you're in material consciousness because it's all based on me, right? I like, I don't like. Duality. Mhm. Krishna, he just likes, there is no duality. He says that samoham sarvabhuteshu, name drishu. What's the rest of the verse? Let me see here. I got it down here somewhere. Yeah. Samoham sarvabhuteshu, name drishu stina priya. I'm equal pose. I don't favor anyone. I don't hate anyone. Ye bhajanti tuman bhaktya maye te te shu chapyaham. You think, but if somebody renders the service unto me, oh, I'm attracted. I mean, selfless service, not motivated service. That pure service attracts them. It's hard to conceive of that in material consciousness, you know. And so you can't put guilt on Krishna. Right? If you don't give me this, then I'm not going to be a devotee. Right? I don't know if anybody's ever gone through that stage of mind. No, I want to serve you, Krishna, but if you can make it easier for me to serve you, like if you give me some good health, or if you get rid of my money problem, I can serve you very nice, but you have to do that. Otherwise, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. And you can do it. Meanwhile, you can't guilt Krishna. Actually, you probably take more things away from you. That's what I experienced. You try to guilt Krishna. Oh, really? Okay, watch this. Okay, that's okay. I won't say anything else anymore. Especially if you're a grahastha. Brahmachari don't have that problem. Real brahmachari. Because he's already surrendered, right? Fully dependent. You can feed me, starve me, it doesn't matter. I'm just your servant. Whatever you want to do with me. Grahastra think, I have my wife, I have my children. So naturally the affection is there. I have to, so naturally you're going to think like that in a way. So, but I want to serve you, Krishna. So, and we see the whole Bhagavad Gita is full of that, right? Arjuna's whole problem is that he has his duty. That's another thing. His duty is to be the king, but now he's got to kill his relatives. Who wants to do that? Maybe in Kali Yuga they do. But he wants to kill their relatives. So he became weak. He was a kshatriya. That was his nature. It was his duty. So even the material platform, he was supposed to do it. And then Krishna said, let me give you the real transcendental reason what's happening here. You don't see what's really happening here. Actually, I am arranged this. If you were a devotee, you would see I arranged it. But you're kind of bewildered right now, so you can't see I arranged this. But actually, I arranged it. So you do it for me. You learned how to do it for me. So then he started killing everybody, breaking all the rules. Yudhisthira, he got a little bit older. He didn't want to give up his material position, right? I need you to say Ashwatthama's dead. I can't do that. I can't do that. Okay, say Ashwatthama the elephant's dead. Okay, I'll do that. Almost surrendered a little bit. You see, actually, in Mahabharata, also Draupadi, she's first Prabhupada presents the aspect of Draupadi as being very tolerant, right? They're disrobing her. So she just throws her hands up, whatever Krishna wants. So from that perspective, you get the sense that she's at peace with that, isn't it? At least I did till I read the Mahabharata. She was mad, very upset. You're my husband, and you let these people, I want you to kill them. I thought she's a pure devotee. Why is she feeling like that? They should be dead. Even at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, after the battle, he approaches her. Are you satisfied? She goes, yes. So how do you resolve that? I thought you're pure devotee. You're supposed to be friends of everyone, right? So the difference between devotees and non-devotees is all those emotions are there, but they're different than they're not coming from envy. As you get purified, you can see what is the effect of envy. In the beginning, you don't see it so much. So it's not that you can't have disagreements and likes and dislikes and all these things, but they're in relation to Krishna. So it's different. Like it mentions in that report here how A devotee, however, never creates a situation of friendship and enemies. Yeah. You can be mad at someone, but he's not your enemy. And nor are they affected by it. And in my family, I think I don't know if everyone else is like that. My brother and I were maybe 3 years apart in age. And my sister was a year younger than me. And we would fight like cats and dogs. I mean, because my mother would, okay, he's in charge while I'm gone. You don't tell us what to do. Who do you think you are? And we physically fight, try to kill each other. We would, both of us against him. He win most of the time. I mean, really punching, and I broke glass and sprinkled it all on his bed and put the sheet on top. I said, I'm going to fix him. When he goes to bed, he's going to lay in broken glass. We were so close. There was nobody I'm closer to than my brother. He's passed away, though. Even when I'm a devotee, he's not. It's like, around him, I could say, do anything. He could say, do anything to me. But we didn't hate each other. We loved each other. It's hard to explain out of love. That's on a material platform, even. That's not even a spiritual platform, you know? So they do anything for me. And I was in Africa and I had to come back. I go, I ain't got no money and I'm in Uganda. I need to come back. So y'all got to buy me a ticket for me and my wife. And I know they didn't have much money. They bought the ticket. Never asked me, you going to pay me back? Are you going to pay me back? We're like that. We never ask payback. There's a sense of love that's there. So uh, Krishna exhibits that love, right? He's oh man, I'm got old. My brain doesn't work anymore. Anyway, y'all gonna get old one day too. So oh, I can't remember that verse. Anyway, he's in the heart of all the living entities. Think about that. It doesn't matter whether you take a worm or germ, or you're a demigod, or why? Because he loves us. He's just waiting there for us to turn. You can't offend him. You can't offend Krishna. It's that famous pastime. Is it Brigu, Muni, and the three? They were arguing who's supreme, Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu. Have you heard that before? Oh, oh yeah, okay. I was going to tell something new here to somebody. And they said, okay, let's do a test. They didn't just quote philosophy. Why? We're gonna test the character. That's how we'll know. So Brigu, he goes to Lord Brahma, and he doesn't. He's his son. He should bow down, right? He just stands there. And Brahma maybe is offended. What? What? You're not. But he's trying to suppress it because he's Lord Brahma, but he's angry. He can see, he's angry. And then Lord Shiva is his brother, and he comes running to him. Oh, my dear Brigu, don't touch me, you full of ashes, you dirty. And Shiva's always easily angered, right? So he was going to kill him right on the spot. And his wife had to, no, 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 that's your brother. That's your brother, remember? Oh, okay, okay, don't kill him. And then he approaches Lord Vishnu, who's lying on not the shade and being massaged on the feet by Lakshmi Devi. And he kicks him on the chest. Can you imagine? I couldn't. Kicks him on the chest. He kicks him so hard it leaves a mark. Even that's that white hair he has on his chest. And what did Vishnu do? Susan chakra? No. No. Gets up. Please forgive me. I know my chest is hard as a thunderbolt. Let me massage your feet. I'm not like that, that's for sure, right? So nobody's love is even as great as Krishna. Of course, it says Lakshmi, she didn't forgive him. She's so mad that to this day, all Brahmins are poor because Lakshmi, she won't be what the Brahmins are. He's still offended. We all have to suffer. You become Brahmin, you become poor. But that's also a blessing too, because there's no distractions. You only have Krishna. So, anyways, so Krishna, he's like that. And he says also there's a verse in Bhagavad Gita, that's 12, 13, 14. I won't read the Sanskrit because time is going a little fast here, but he says, one who is not envious, but is a kind friend to all living entities, who does not think himself a proprietor and is free from false ego, right? False ego means I am the enjoyer. You have to be freed from that. Who is equal in both happiness and distress, because if you give up false ego, then of course you're going to be equal in happiness and distress. Because if I'm not the enjoyer, then what am I? I'm the servant. So does the servant have a choice? I only do things when they feel good? No. A servant is, it doesn't matter. My duty is to satisfy the master. I don't care. So there is no happiness and distress. It's only based as the master happy. So is Krishna happy? How do we know if Krishna is happy? I'm asking you all. Let's see this. I always like to ask this test. How do you know? Let's see. That's great Vaishnava. Anyway, I was going to tell them don't answer. Let the new people. Some people say, because I feel good. I heard many devotees, the new devotees. Yeah, because you feel so blissful. Therefore, Krishna must be happy. I said, how do you know that's not material happiness? You're so pure, you know that's Krishna's happiness. It could be material. I just ate some nice samosa. You know, that feels good. Now, if I give you Corella, are you happy? At least for me. I don't like Corella, so. It's prasadam, but it's Corella. I don't like it. So Guru is happy. That's how you know Krishna is happy. We're the servants. So there no happiness, distress, and he's tolerant. And he's always satisfied as a result, too. You're always satisfied. The more you become servant, the more satisfied. And you're self-controlled. All these things are, and therefore you're engaged in devotional service with determination also. And then his mind and intelligence, they're fixed on me, Krishna says. He says, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So Prabhupada says, coming again to the point of pure devotional service, the Lord is describing the transcendental qualification of a pure devotee in these two verses. A pure devotee is never disturbed in any circumstance, nor is he envious of anyone. Nor does a devotee become his enemy's enemy. He thinks, this person is acting as my enemy due to my own past misdeeds. So we're getting some instructions here how to be Krishna conscious. And Krishna conscious is practical. It means doing something, right? If you love, what does love means? I just say it. Oh, you show it with your actions. So if I'm Krishna conscious, then I do something. What do? Because we're come Krishna conscious from Prabhupada, we serve ISKCON. Because we want to make Prabhupada happy, right? So I come to do my service, but there's all kinds of people here. And materially speaking, I might not like them because that's the nature of the material world. Different cultures, different this, different that. Like he mentioned here, that's what politics is try to juggle and balance these things all the time. World politics. Therefore, if everyone's Krishna conscious, then there won't be any of these conflicts. You learn to cooperate for the satisfying Krishna. And I joined and moved into the temple in 1974. And I got the books around 71. I was, oh boy, 16. But that, I don't know if you understand American history at that time. The government had to force people not to discriminate it based on religion, caste, creed, race. Imagine that. You had to make a law. It was heavy. I don't. I'm probably all too young to know that, to experience that. If you want to rent a house, they go, "We don't rent to black people." They just tell you just like that. No, we don't. Sorry, nothing you can do about it. You want to borrow money. We don't lend money to you because you're not. You can't go to school. You can't. You can do so many things because they had this conception of these are the horrible people, and we don't want to mix with them. So you have to keep them separate, right? So I remember streets like that. They were separate. Nobody would cross the street. There's like a demilitarized zone in the area where you live. Nobody, no friends, nothing. Can you imagine? And then people from both sides become devotees. So you got the foster and you come and you're like, oh, okay. So I want to serve. So you have to adjust. You have to adjust for this Prabhupada service. Prabhupada physically being there made it so easy, just because you were hoping to see him, you get to see him and you see a person who is purely pure, you know what I mean? And when you're in that atmosphere with him, the whole atmosphere becomes Vaikuntha. It becomes Vaikuntha. So you have something to aspire for. So for Prabhupada's service, let me become more Krishna conscious, come off the bodily platform. And Prabhupada was like that. In the beginning, Gaudiya Math, there are so many cultural things. Therefore they couldn't come to America as a result, because America is the opposite of what they practice. If we go there, what's going to happen to us? They thought we will fall down. They didn't have that faith like Prabhupada had in the holy name. And they thought also they're not going to listen to us because they're opulent. At that time, India was really, you know, almost third world like. Right? And America was, you could just go to high school. You didn't need to go to college. And you could have a wife, 4 children, nice house with a garage, and the wife stay home. Go on vacation even. Easy life, right? Not like that anymore now. Most people, most husband and wife need STEM degree. Still send their children to daycare. But it was like that. It was life was easy. I'm 16 years old. My brother and we shared a car. 16. So they thought, every town and village meant India. Didn't mean the whole world. But Prabhupada came immediately because he's Krishna conscious. He knew how to adjust everything. So immediately, even he could see, like Govinda Das and some of these others, they were the most productive people. So he put them as secretary. He didn't have a man. He's a sannyasi. He's not supposed to have a woman secretary, but he's got to spread Krishna consciousness. And Govinda Das, he did so many things, I'm sure you, like with the name Prabhupada we have, right? You know that story? She got that name. because they was Swamiji, everybody was G, it's the Indian thing, Govinda G, this G. And one day Prabhupada commented, he said, that's not very nice to address each other as G. And she said, well, we call you Swamiji. He goes, well, that's okay. Because he's, pure. And she said, no, 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 no. Tell us what is the proper way that we should address you. Because, we want to do the right thing. He was like, no, it's not important. No, no, tell us. He says, well, generally the gurus address, and he gave some three names. I can't remember the three. And she says, well, which of those three is the best? And he said, Prabhupada. So, okay, from this day forward, we're going to call you Prabhupada. That's it. She sent a message to all the temples. He's no longer Swamiji, he's Prabhupada. And that was it. He became Prabhupada. That was Govinda. She know how to be a secretary. I couldn't do that. I would be in such, imagine you were Prabhupada, you're just like, I would be like that. And he's shaking, you know. How are you going to say, Prabhupada, no, we're going to do like that. We're going to do, what I mean? I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I'd faint. As soon as he chastised me, I just suicide, you know. Yeah. So these personalities are very, very intelligent. Few devotees like that, Kesar, Shutakirti, all of them, they knew how to be servants of Prabhupada. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't last 5 minutes. So some other service. Anyway, he was expert in these things, and you know, you can see the men and women in America mix. Okay, Brahmachari ashram and Brahmachari ashram. Does that exist in India? They don't have Brahmachari ashram, do they? Ladies ashram. Gaudiya Math doesn't have that. They have now. Now they have. Someone told me. In the past they did. They don't have that like we had. This hall over here is the men, over here is the women. So all these adjustments. Why? For the sake of Krishna's service. Yeah, it's practical. It's a mission. Krishna inaugurated this mission to save all of us by coming, displaying his pastimes, spoke Bhagavad Gita. And at the end of the Gita, what does he say? He gives some hints what we should do. Tell others about this. Is anyone who tells anybody about this, they're very dear to me, and they will come to me. Snuck that in at the last minute. And Mahaprabhu, of course, he comes to Mahaprabhu when he implements Sankirtan. So, learning how to act, how to have, these things of friends and enemies, even in Mahaprabhu's Leela, we see some contradictions there too, like Haridas Thakur, Sanatana Rupa Goswami. Well, Haridas was born a Muslim, of course, and Sanatana Rupa became Muslim because they were working for the Muslim government. That was the culture at that time. So heavy, you know. Haridas Thakur could not, when Advaita Acharya, Nityananda, and Mahaprabhu would have prasadam, Haridas had to stay outside. And they put his plate outside for him. Because the Brahmins would be, what is this? You're a Brahmin and you let this man come in your house? He couldn't even go into the Puri temple. So I asked many of the senior devotees about this when I got this realization way back. I was like, wow, he couldn't even. I said, why didn't Mahaprabhu fix that? He's the supreme personality of Godhead, isn't he? And Balaram is there. Sada Shiva, Mahavishnu, and the Dvaitacharya is there. They couldn't fix this thing so that maybe now we can go in Puri temple too. And many devotees gave different opinions on this matter. And Radhanath Swami said something to me I thought was explained it the best. He said, it wasn't important. And therefore he didn't disturb the social custom because it wasn't important. But when then come on, brain. Anyways, the Nawab wanted to stop the Sankirtan because they're having kirtan. They're indoors. They didn't even go outdoors yet because the Brahmins were so powerful and they were envious, and they became disturbed by the kirtan, and they finally complained to what is his name? John Kazi, yeah. Mahaprabhu is disturbing Vishnu. He's trying to sleep and he's singing loud all the time. You have to this. And those Muslim leaders were very good politically. They didn't just, suppress strongly the Hindus. They allowed them to be Hindus. And the Brahmins are complaining that he's breaking Hindu principles. Fine. He went over and smashed the drums, said, "You stop this, I'm going to punish all of you." Now they're trying to stop Sankirtan. Mahaprabhu, he protested. Civil disobedience immediately. No civil disobedience about going to Puri temple, but Sankirtan, no. You're not going to stop Sankirtan. After that, they begin to go on the street. So, even if you look at, we're talking politics here, America even, it mentions here that people who are intelligent, they don't see, they try to be equal poles, no friends and enemies, right? So, America was a colony, but they were tired of the British in a sense. So they made their declaration, right? What was it? The one that's all men are created equal. This is their proclamation on the basis of what is going to be the Americas. That all men are created equal and they have this inalienable rights and all these things like that. Of course, it was good intent. And imagine if they had met devotees, they probably would have maybe perfected it more. But based on the culture of the time, men didn't mean people from Africa. They could be slaves. It was right. Or women too. Women weren't equal either. They couldn't vote. They couldn't do so many things. Based on the Christianity at the time, women and Africans don't have souls at the time. So they're not equal. Somehow or another. So, but that framework actually created America, which was perfect for Prabhupada to launch Krishna consciousness. It was perfect because you look at other countries, you don't have the same religious freedom. Like says we have the freedom to practice our religion, which means you can do it publicly. And therefore Christians would stand on the corners. You don't see them much like that anymore, I guess. Back in the 60s, 70s, somebody was always on the corner with their Bible, trying to save souls. So we start doing our Hari now, and they didn't like it. They lock us up. So a little bit of ISKCON history you don't hear. So like I mentioned the other day, I think I mentioned that, right? Where the temple president sued the city of Chicago. I said that yesterday, right? Another thing that came out of that court case, the prosecutor was arguing. I can't remember what level of court it was. It must have been a federal level, because he said in a anger, well, if they can walk on the sidewalks and chant Hare Krishna and do all these selling books, then that means they can do it in the airport also. He goes, yes. Now it became a precedent. And because they didn't challenge that ruling, take it to the higher court, we could go in all the airports now because it was written there. We can go in the airports. That's how we got in the airports. Judge says we can go in. We're practicing our religion. This is public because it's public funds that paid for this. And wherever there's public funds, we can do our religion publicly. Even the universities receive public funds. We can walk on their sidewalks and do so many things because they have public funds. So later on, because at that time people are a little more liberal and now they're more conservative. So, they can argue laws in such a way. You can make a law justify anything, really, isn't it? So now after especially 9/11. No, no, no. Now we have to protect the public's interest because it's, terrorist attacks and these people might be, so many airports blocked us. O'Hare is still open, Atlanta, so many others, but Los Angeles. And we didn't continue fighting it because what was the point? Maybe you get to the Supreme Court, they still would probably, just like they also had ruled about this slavery. They said, no, slavery is justified under the Constitution in the 1800s. They said it was, it's okay. They're property of those people and you can't touch it. So they had to make amendments very specifically stating this is not allowed. 13th, I think 14th Amendment. So that's how it ended. But based on what they had before that, so people interpret according to their heart, like that. So if you're Krishna conscious, then you become more broad, it's not just loving humans, even the plants, the animals, everything you respect. You see everything as you're the servant of everything. We're servants and we're here to make Krishna happy. That's all. So maybe I have to serve Prabhu or serve this. We work together and we can have differences. This is what ISKCON facilitates, is learning to serve with your differences. But the key is don't have enmity. You can strongly disagree. But don't, not hate you forever because I don't agree with you. You have to learn to recognize maybe Krishna wants it like that for some particular reason. It may look like something that's wrong, but after some time, it's like, oh, wow, that's why that happened. Practically most of the temples that came about, if you look at the history of them, they came about because one devotee said, I'm sick of you. I'm going to go start my own temple. A new temple started. If they didn't have that disagreement, another temple would have never became about. Even Prabhupada going to India, he became very upset with, at the time, the movement, I think it's around 70s or so. So devotees, at one point, Prabhupada said they were minimizing him, I think. I can't remember which sequence went first. So to compensate, there was like Prabhupada's God now and all these things. Anyway, at one point, they felt he was being minimized. So he became very upset. And he decided, you can have ISKCON. I'm going to India. He writes this in a letter later. He says, actually, this was Rukmini Dwarkadish's trick because he had made Los Angeles the world headquarters. He said, I had no plans to go back to India. He thought those people never be Krishna conscious because he was there for 69 years and nobody cared for Prabhupada. Same Prabhupada, nobody cared for him. And now he got upset, so he went back. He said, I'll start temples in India. And he said, I would have never gone if this doesn't happen. He said, actually, I said to Rukmini Dwarkadish, why are you doing this to me? And they told him, so you can build some temples in India. And without those temples in India, after Prabhupada's departure, North America would have been finished because we had a transition period of not selling books and brahmacharis and all these things. With Prabhupada present, everybody was working so hard, because I don't know if I mentioned this before, like if you wanted him to come to your temple, he couldn't go to all the temples. So which temples do you think he'd go to? Whoever sold the most books, right? How can I not go? So if you want him to come to your temple, you have to sell more books than the other temple. Because you can't just everybody go follow Prabhupada all over America. You kept doing your service. Even when he came in the airport, if you look in those videos, you see devotees with wigs on and their army clothes because they were still selling books. They don't stop your service. And as he was leaving, they stopped and kind of got a quick, darshan. They went back to selling books. We were so busy trying to, at least get Prabhupada to say, thank you. I want to hear Prabhupada, thank you, Siki Mihiri. That's the perfection of life. You're struggling for that. So you could tolerate so many things. Nobody got married. Not that they were, brahmachari and freed from those things, but you're so busy. And then when Prabhupada left, then everyone started, you don't tell me what to do. No, who do you think you are? There was no one to settle it. There's no more, I want to sell these books so Prabhupada comes to my temple, you know, and everybody's fighting. So, like, there was no more love. So, what are you going to do? You got to get married so somebody loves you. Because nobody loves me. Wife makes you feel good. Oh, you're okay. Don't worry. It's okay. Men come like that. It's like children. They need the wives to make them feel good, even though they're big and tough, Isn't that right, Mataji? See? She says so. She knows how to keep them going. Good team. Yeah, it's a good team. Me too. Same way. So sometimes she chastises and you accept it. I had a story like that. I almost died in Philadelphia. I mean, I was at one time, it was because in the beginning, all the pajaris, I'm doing all the RTX, dressing in the morning, evening. So, you can't drink much because you got to run to the bathroom, right? So I wasn't drinking enough, really. I mean, in retrospect, I realized this. So I became dehydrated. I was dehydrated at a point I was vomiting and stomach cramps. I thought I had food poisoning or something. I don't know why. I couldn't think of, but anyway, I thought so. I was struggling through it, and right about that time it happened, we got some pajari, so I could come off. And then 2 days, third day, I was feeling so nice. Actually, I was feeling like wow, like I guess the adrenaline is flowing. And then Mangalarti came in to check on me. He's, I said, I feel pretty good. I think tomorrow I'm going to be okay. And she tells me, you need to go to the hospital. You remember that? I'm like, what are you talking about? I ain't waste no time going to no hospital. I'm going to be fine tomorrow. So she's smart enough to call my wife. She could see something I couldn't see. Men are stubborn. Gee, my wife, I got to listen to her for, right? Anyway, so she brings the phone. My wife's, okay, okay, I'm going. I'm going. Lucky, I know this lucky, but they gave me a whole bottle of IV fluid. And she told me, that you'd have been dead tomorrow. You're so dehydrated, your electrolytes were out of imbalance. They're in balance. That's why I was feeling like that. I was like, wow, I was about to die. That's been nice dying in the temple and service. Maybe put a plaque. He died trying to serve the temple. I mean, glorious death, right? And he robbed me of my glory. Wife, I'm not gonna argue with the wife. So you go to that? Okay, okay, I'll go. So, anyways, yeah, dehydrate. I know what dehydration is now. It's very serious. There's a point you can't return. You can overhydrate also. Drink too much water, it throws your electrolytes. You have a stroke in your brain because the electrolytes are in balance. So that's what your brain and organs stop, and they can't save you. Some people who run these marathons, they die like that. They drink too much water and they're running, drink, 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 they fall down. Anyways, that's off the subject. So we want to learn to cooperate. And that's the whole point. And that's why ISKCON is the way it is. Because in the learning to cooperate, you become Krishna conscious. You have to use your intelligence, preach to yourself, and then gradually all the emotions come. The main thing that's driving us is, I want to satisfy Krishna, and I satisfy Krishna by satisfying Prabhupada, serving Guru like this. I'm full of faults. So many people have to tolerate me all the time. We don't see that because we have false ego. I don't have any faults. It's all them. They did this, they did that, and it may be obvious too. Well, what are you doing? I'm not doing anything wrong. You can't see your faults because we have false ego, but you have them. Well, how do I know I have them? Because you don't see Krishna, do you? Is Krishna talking to you? then you got a fault. You're not pure. So as you advance, actually you become more humble. So that verse Trinadapi Sunichina, that is the key, besides chanting Hare Krishna and these other things. That's the key to being a devotee. You need to meditate on those words and apply them, you know. As you advance, you realize how fallen you are actually. You know, as you go on, you start seeing faults. You're shocked to go, wow, where did that come from? No, it's always been there. You just didn't see it. But now you made some advancements, so you see it. So let me fix it. Let me fix it. Mhm. Like that. Why? So why we're here, we got these short amount of time, 80, 90 years. Let us try to expand ISKCON. This is what we're here for. And then you have all eternity to do all the other Leela things with Krishna. So Prabhupada exhibited like that. You see, at the time of death, he's still translating. So we should take that same. I'm just waiting for them to blow the conch shell. They got me yesterday. It's not going to be any questions, so don't even think about it. Like that. So yeah, to be in ISKCON, Prabhupada did say like that. If you have to learn to cooperate and don't leave. So many, I was going to quote somebody. So many says, don't leave. If you stay, you'll be saved. Okay. Jai, all glory, Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hari Bol. Oh, that was fast. No, boop, 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 boop. Yeah, blow the conch shell.